Hello and good evening, everyone. So this video is in regard to the aesthetic consultations, and most often as aesthetic injectors, we come across moments that during our consultations, we skip a heartbeat. And one of the moments is that when you have to convey that Botox has to be repeated every 6 months. And after you say that, you have that butterflies in the stomach kind of a feeling of losing a potential client, or you feel that the client may deny the treatment or just leave it. So this is in response to the query raised by Dr. Richa Dua. So Dr. Richa, this video is for you. So in this video, I'm going to be sharing a few tips that can help you to consult and convey confidently all the pros and cons of your aesthetic procedure. And mostly this is about Botox. The important thing here is to identify the mindset barriers. Now, individuals coming to you for aesthetic injectables have various mindset barriers. And what I have identified in my practice is in the sequence that first barrier is whether to get an injectable treatment or Botox done or not. The second barrier is how many times does it have to be repeated. The third barrier is how expensive it's going to be. The fourth barrier is that how painful it's going to be. The fifth barrier is that if anybody would get to know or will they be judged for getting it done. And the sixth barrier is that what if they do not get the repeat sessions done? So you see, when it comes to talking about the repetition of the session, or when you have to explain that Botox has to be done after 6 months, so the good news here is that the first barrier is anyway crossed. So you don't have to justify Botox treatments, or you don't have to make them understand about Botox. That's already been done. They're already convinced. Now, the second thing that they have to be convinced is that it has to be done on regular basis. So while selling, you have to use certain tools, and these tools could be your convictions and analogies and examples from real life. And all this has to be packed in loads of confidence and positive energy. So the first way of going about is the psychological way. Now, psychology says it's not what you say that is more impactful, but how you say is what creates a more powerful impact on our conscious and subconscious mind. So we are by nature aligned to take orders and affirmations rather than, listen to statements and requests. So if you convey confidently, it's more likely to be registered affirmatively without raising doubts and queries. And if ever they are raised, the solutions would be easily acceptable. So this is one way. That you have to be full of energy and attitude and affirmatively saying that, yes, it's a normal procedure and it has to be repeated every 6 months. And the best part is that the time for which the Botox is working, it is like, stealing away that time from the process of aging, because, that is the time when the skin stops aging, There's a pause button. Botox is like putting a pause button on the process of skin aging or wrinkling. Now, the second way to go about is the logical reasoning. So it's a very basic concept that nothing is permanent. The longevity of the results from procedure, they will vary from procedure to procedure. So no matter what they get done for their wrinkles, first of all, it is not going to be as effective as Botox. And secondly, it might even need more frequent visits and sessions. So a very good analogy that you can give is that, we have all come across that puzzle in which they draw a line and they ask, how can you make this line taller or shorter without even touching it? And the easiest way is to draw a line which is much taller than this previous line. So this becomes automatically shorter. So applying the same analogy over here, you have to say with Botox, it is just 2 visits in a year. Whereas as compared to any other treatment, it might be 2 visits per month. So it is 2 visits in a year versus 12 to 24 visits in a year. So, obviously with Botox, because since everything needs maintenance, you have maintenance sessions for everything depending upon the longevity of the results. So with Botox, this is the minimum that you can come for anti-wrinkle. So when you apply this analogy, it creates a very good impact on the person. And also when you quantify, when you try to quantify the results with Botox, you are getting 95% improvement. Whereas in any other modality, even with 12, 24 sessions, the same magnitude of results would never be achieved. So that is the second thing that has to be conveyed logically. So that is the second point, which is a logical point. Now, the third way to go about it is giving practical solutions. So I'll share how I do it. And this is something very interesting. So the most practical way to go about explaining things is to pick examples from their own life. So I always ask them their profession or occupation and try to explain things in their language itself. So for example, if somebody is a gym trainer, and they would come and ask me that one session is sufficient or do I need repeat sessions, so I will ask them in return that if I come to you for asking for, I want to build muscle, so can you do it for me in one day? The answer is absolute no. For building muscle, you need to work out every day for 3 months and then go into maintenance phase. And similarly with any other treatment, similarly with Botox, similarly with any other treatment, you have to have one treatment sessions, then there are some maintenance sessions, and everything needs maintenance. One session is not sufficient for anything in life, leave aside Botox. So if you need to work on it, then you have to be prepared to keep investing into it, and everything needs maintenance. There is nothing, the day you buy a car, you start its maintenance, so it has to go. The maintenance comes as a part of it. It's a part of the procedure. If you are not used to it, then it is something that you need to learn. Now, the fourth way is to give them examples, and the best example that you can give is give them your own examples. So this is coming completely out of my experience, that when I was injecting Botox, but I had never gotten it done, the way I was talking about it and consulting about it is slightly different. But the day I get Botox myself done, the day I got myself injected with Botox, the magnetism and the positivity and the energy that I was consulting was completely different, and this transformation was not conscious, but it came very naturally to me. So experiencing that procedure, and in every consultation I used to naturally give my example, normally give my example. This is how I got it done, and this is how I was experiencing Botox and stuff like that. So when you give examples from your own life, it creates a bigger impact. The magnetism changes, the entire energy profile changes, and that creates a very good impact, because it is the confidence that you're selling, it is the story that you're telling rather than the product. So you have to transcend them into a zone where they're acceptable to anything and everything that comes with and around getting Botox done. So, and it all depends on your confidence and the story that you tell. So I hope this video helps. Try implementing these few tips which I've shared. And if you still feel there is some challenges, do share in the messages, and I will try to delve into this with a greater depth. So thank you, and hope it helps.